Hi everyone, Victor here again. In our previous lesson, we looked at the OpenShift storage or volume concept, and we created PV and PVC OpenShift objects and attached them to a pod. In today's lesson, I am happy to let you know that the secret and config map are also types of Kubernetes or OpenShift volume, and we already learned about the secret and config map object in one of our previous lessons. Hence, in today's lesson, we will look at how to mount secret and config map inside of a container as persistent volume. And the reason why we would want to do this is because upon startup, there are some applications, or rather, your applications might need to read up some configuration files before they are started or before some services attached to these applications will work. And also for secret, some apps might also need to read up some SSH keys or some passwords before they are started. Hence, we can attach these files or secret as persistent volumes. So let's create the secret object first. And I already have the YAML manifest file, which is I have it as next secret YAML. You can see that it's following the same convention. We've already created secret before, so this is not a new thing. We've done this in one of our previous lessons. So you can see that we have API version, the kind is secret, metadata, that is the name of the secret is nginx rather dash secret, and you can see here that data and the name of the file. The auth key is the name of the file, and then this pipe, right, is showing that there is a content inside of the file, and this is the content. So if you wish, you can add more content inside of the file. So now we can create the secret, and to do that, I can just say secret file nginx 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 secret YAML. So you can see that the secret has been created. So if I do oc get secret, you can see that we have the secret being created as nginx dash secret, and the type of secret is opaque. So now that we have the secret being created, the next thing we're going to do is to create the config map object or component as well. And I also have that too in a YAML manifest file, which is in that's in the next config map YAML. So if you look at this file too, it's following the same convention, API version, kind, config map, metadata, the name of the config map, data, and this is the file name, which is nginx.extra. And this pipe means that I have content inside of the file, and these are the content inside of the file. And if I wish, I can also add more content inside of the file. So now I can create this object, this config map object. So I can just say, oh, secret. You can see that the config map has been created. So I can just do get config map. You can see that we have the config map being created, which is nginx dash config map. And you should also know that this file's secret and config map has a number of data size it can accommodate. For secret it's around 10 MB. I'm not too sure about that, but you can verify that. So after creating the secret and the config map object, the next line of action is to create a container and map or mount the secret and the config map files as a volume to the container. So like I've explained, let's say you want to customize or overwrite a configuration file in the container. All you need to do is to make the file a mount path, right? And even if you would like to use the file by the time the container is created, you can also make the volume a mount path so that you can make use of it. And if the container too needs a configuration file or some sort of SSH keys, to start, you can also map this secret into the container upon startup. So, and that's what we're going to look at right now. So let's create the Nginx application. So I already have a YAML manifest file for that too as well. So I can just do cat hitting Nginx Nginx deploy. So you can look at the file here. So let me just do VI instead so that I can explain this to you. So this shouldn't be a problem because I took my time to explain this when we were looking at creating PV and PVC in one of our previous lessons. So if you look at this, of course, you can see that we have the API version, the kind deployment, the metadata. So like I told you in that lesson, let me just scroll down. I said that the way you would do this or the way you would map a volume to a container is first of all to map the volume to the pod first, and from the pod you can then map the volume to the container. So the volume that we're mapping here is the secret and config map. So you can look at this section here that under the volume section, right, which is under the pod section. So let me just scroll up. You can see that after container here, after spec here, we have container and we have volume, meaning that we are mounting this under the pod section first. So for volumes, so you can see the name of the first volume. The name is nginx-secret-file, and the type of volume is secret. And you can see that this is the secret name, which is nginx-secret that we created. And the second volume that we're mounting to the pod, this is the name. The name that we're giving it here is nginx-cm-file, and the type of volume is config map. Unlike when we were doing PV and PVC, you can see that when we got to the type of volume, we wrote persistent volume claim. But in this case, the type of volume is config map, and the name for this volume or config map is nginx-config map that we created. So after mapping the volumes to the pod, then we can now map the volume from the pod to the container. And if you look at the container section here, you can see that under container we have name, image, pod, then we have the volume mount, meaning that we want to map this volume to the container. And the first volume we're mounting is, you can see the name, which is nginx-secret-file, which is this. And we're mounting it where in the container, we're mounting it in etc/auth key in the container. And if you wish, you can put this parameter read only, which is true, meaning that I want this file to be read only. And the second volume that we're mounting, you can see here, this is list of items, is nginx-cm-file, which is the config map here. You can see it here. And the mount part, we're mounting this in the container in the path etc/extra. So like I said, this is not a new thing. I took my time to explain it, and we even built the manifest file together. So if you're confused, you can just check that storage concepts, I think the previous or one or the two previous lessons. So now that we have this YAML manifest file. So let's create this um, container or pod. So now I can just say OC create. Let me just do this. I can just create this. So you can see that the deployment has been created. So if I do OC get pod, the container is still creating. If I do also get port again, you can see now that the container is running. So now let's see if those secret and config maps have been mapped to the container. And to do that, usually I used to log into the minikube node, but like I said, I can just go straight away. So this is going to be duplicated symbol. I can still use this method. So I can just say OC exit exec rather dash interactive shell, then the name of the pod. I can say let's say shell. So now I can do cd slash etc, yeah, slash etc. So if I do ls, let's see if you can get the auth key file which we mapped to this container. You can see the auth key, and let's also look for the extra, so you can see the extra. So let's even see what we have. If I say cat auth key is a directory, so I can say auth key, oops, you see the auth key, ls auth auth dot key. All right, so I can see the name of the file that we created. So let me just scroll up a bit so you can see what I'm talking about. So here we have cd etc auth key, and the file when we created this auth key. Let's look at this here again. So we have the file name which is auth.key. So let's see the content inside of the file now. So I can say cat auth.key. You can see that this is the content. So it's actually an encrypted content. So it's just giving us what was encrypted, and this is the information in it. And also, the next directory is extra. So I just do pwd cd dot ls. So cd extra. If I do ls, so the file there is in the next dot extra. Let me confirm that too. It's as if, sometimes like, am I sure that that's the file? All right, okay, in the next dot extra. So I can just say cat next dot extra. You can see the information we have inside of that file. So this is how you're going to map secret and config map as persistent volumes inside of the container. And like I said, it's important for some applications. Some application needs to read up some configuration file before they can start up. And if you happen to have that kind of application, you can just create a secret or config map and then map it to that application, as persistent volume so that the application can start up. So thank you for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like, share, comment. And when you do this, you would encourage us to do more. And bye for now.